Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th ever episode of the Detonate podcast. It is the 11th of April. I'm your host, Nate Gullion, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Stephanie Pastroni Ravioli.
Hey, y'all.
And we're back. After
a
week hiatus, we made it back. Oh, goodness. And we're kind of back. Kind of. I'm a little low energy today. We'll talk a bit more about it in a bit, but long story short, I have been cutting back on caffeine and I have zero energy today. So.
I feel like this is a really bad life choice. I'm very against this.
I'm not quitting. I've quit before and I don't. It is definitely healthier, but I just don't like quitting caffeine. But I just have to cut back. But yeah, we'll go.
As your friend, I don't support this decision.
You are such an enabler.
I know, I really am. I'm like, just try it, man. Come on, man. Just try it.
Just have another Mountain Dew, man. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Just one sip. One sip. That's all you need. Just one sip.
God. Yeah. Cut to 3 a.m. Me wired bouncing off the walls.
Well, you're talking to a woman who drinks a whole entire coffee of... Wait, I need more coffee. Who drinks a whole entire pot of coffee in a day and more.
Yeah, it got bad. We'll just go into it. F it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, F it. Go.
I've gotten to the point of drinking at least 42 ounces of Mountain Dew a day, plus probably a pot of coffee. If not more than a pot of coffee. It's so much caffeine that I have started just crashing even with it. Today was the day I decided I have to stop. Because yesterday I was crashing. I slept half the day after having caffeine.
I feel like maybe you need to switch to a different caffeine. Just put the grounds right on the counter and just be and just snort them.
Just snort them, the coffee.
Snort a line of grounds, man.
Oh, yeah. This periodically happens. I just get so wrapped up in work and stuff that then I'm just I'll just another cup of coffee to get me through the day. Just another cup of coffee.
One more hit, man.
Yeah, and then at some point it just becomes too much. And then I sit back, I'm just I don't feel good. Everything sucks. So,
oh my God.
It was late last night that I was yeah, all right. Yeah, we need to take a couple days off, kind of reset, not drink so much caffeine all the time. Because, yeah, caffeine is not good for you. And you really do have more energy when you don't drink caffeine.
I feel like you're lying to me right now, and I really don't appreciate it.
I feel it's a weird sort of thing. I've always considered it overall you have more energy when you're not on caffeine, but caffeine makes you more alert and creative. So that's why, especially with the work I'm doing full time now, I'm trying to be very creative and trying to come up with new things and stuff, and that caffeine helps with that. But it's just too much caffeine. I'm just ugh. So dialing it back, that way when I have a cup of coffee I can be oh, everything feels good right now, as opposed to just oh, I had a cup of coffee, I'm gonna go take a nap, because that's where I'm at now, and it's that's not.
Oh no,
that's not a good place to be. It's not a good place to be. So that's where I've been. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Welcome. We're addicts.
We're caffeine addicts here.
Oh my gosh.
Caffeine Addicts Anonymous.
Yeah, it is bad. I don't know. I can't ever. There was one week when I did try to give up coffee, and it was, I don't know what I was thinking, but it was finals week, and it just...
Oh, no.
It just did not go well. It did not, and, I could stop if I wanted to.
It's one of those things, you don't ever realize how... caffeine is one of the most addictive drugs out there. A lot of places and companies downplay it, because obviously a lot of companies want to sell their sodas and stuff. Caffeine's bad, y'all. It's real bad. And a lot of people don't realize how addicted they are to it until they try to stop. and they just hit a wall. Like you go after using caffeine for a while and you just stop cold turkey, you are going to be useless for a couple days. It sucks.
My thing is, I drink straight up coffee with like cream and like stevia, just like a little stevia. So it's not something where it's like I'm drinking a Mountain Dew. I don't drink sodas. And I'll have like a Coke Zero every once in a blue moon with like some whiskey because, you know, you got to balance out you got to balance out the healthy with some alcohol, you know. But basically I don't drink the sodas or anything really sugary. So maybe, do you think that's what it is? Maybe it's the sugar. It's the sugar crash.
The sugar is also super bad too. I
just feel like caffeine has never lied to me. It's never let me down. I just don't see why it's treating you so badly.
The sugar is definitely also bad, but no, even when I used to just drink black coffee and that was my source of caffeine and I'd still...
wow, that's crazy. Now, getting off sugar was a lot harder for me
Sugar's rough.
than caffeine, but it was, it was really bad. So, I mean...
Yeah, I don't mean to downplay sugar at all. Sugar is also very bad.
Holy hell.
Like, sodas in general are just super unhealthy, guys.
So bad. I remember I gave it up for Lent like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I felt terrible. Because I don't eat a lot of sugary foods. Like, I don't eat cereal. I do kind of like not trying to get like a health kick or anything, but I do like, you know, a lower carb diet, which... you know, carbs are basically just sugar. So I tried to stay off of that, and I felt horrible, and then I felt amazing. So the sugar, I couldn't give up both. So, you know, you need to just choose one, and if it works, go for it. But I couldn't imagine getting off both. Don't try to get off both at the same time.
I'm just dialing back even that. Like like I said, I've quit caffeine before. I used to be off. I didn't have any caffeine whatsoever for like a year.
Oh my God.
And I did good, but the problem is just like the things I like have caffeine in them. Like even chocolate, just chocolate has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it does. That's why it's beautiful.
So
it's got the sugar and the caffeine.
What? It's just about like, and of course I always get to this point where I'm like, I'm having too much, need to dial it back. But as long as I keep catching myself and dialing it back, then we're all right. So,
well, I'm proud of you. You have better willpower than I do.
So bear with us, guys, because we're going to talk about random stuff like caffeine for 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah, so 10 minutes. It's just one of my favorite things on this planet. So, you know, I'm a little passionate about it.
Really, well, I mean, I do too. I'm like, I'm ready to get past these few days of dialing it back so that I can then go back to having coffee in the mornings.
Yeah. Are you just going to do it for like a week? Like just not have caffeine for a week? Or like how are you going to do it?
I usually just kind of feel it out. Like, however, once I stop feeling dead inside without caffeine, then I'm like, okay, it's safe to go back to caffeine. But it's just because I'm so dependent on it right now. Like, cause I'll have legitimate withdrawals, like massive migraines, just feel like horribly, horribly sick. And it's something that if you take like a sip of caffeine, you'll be fine.
Wow.
But that's the, like, caffeine addiction is real. I'm not even, like, f***ing around. Caffeine is a legitimate addiction.
I'm in complete denial. I know I'm addicted because even when I stream or something, people will be like, how much coffee are you drinking? Because I know you've seen the big mugs I have. Mm. Did you guys hear that? The judgmental.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I buy only big mugs because I get tired of walking to the coffee pot. And I have on my desk, I have a cup warmer to keep I can't even. I have a cup warmer to keep it hot. And I even had to buy one from Amazon because of my big mugs. So it's a big one.
No, I've looked in. There's these like cups that you can get. Guys, welcome to the coffee podcast. It's just going to be this for a little bit. I'm sorry. There's these like self temperature regulating mugs. I think they're called Ember or something.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I want one.
They're so expensive. Like, they're insanely expensive, but they connect to your smartphone, and you can, like, I have no use for it connecting to my smartphone, but like, you can adjust the temperature of your coffee mug from anywhere and have it set to that specific temperature. And then it has like a charging pad. So as long as it's on the charging pad, it keeps your coffee at that temperature forever. But then they each have like an hour-long battery life to keep it at that temperature anyways. They're cool. I'm like, I kind of want one of those. Those are kind of neat, but they're like over $100.
Oh, I don't want it that much. You need to try. So my friend, not me, because obviously I'm highly addicted to coffee. She had to get off caffeine when she found out she was pregnant. So if she figured out it wasn't even just the caffeine, but having that warm beverage in the morning. So she would heat up a kettle and put hot water in a kettle with like lemon or like even nothing. I think sometimes she'd just drink like hot boiling water. I mean, not like
I know what
she
you
wouldn't
mean,
like guzzle it down her throat while it's boiling. She wasn't like
just screams.
Just like, I need coffee, and pouring like hot water on her face. But I mean, she would just have like warm, like a cup of warm water, like really warm water, like, you know, coffee temperature.
That's a good idea.
So you need to do that. And she's, I mean, she had her baby, and you know, like the baby's like 2 now. It's not even a baby anymore. She still does that, and she doesn't drink coffee. So
that's a really clever idea.
That's a sip for thought.
Okay, guys, we will actually talk about video games for a bit now. I promise. But I just wanted to get everybody caught up. And
this is my fault.
No, I actually like this. I like, because sometimes like we're kind of taking a different approach to the podcast, guys. Like it's. I'll kind of do a little bit of backstory on that. So obviously we've been doing kind of the podcast how we've been doing it already, where we've been going and doing a lot of research because me personally, and I'm sure Pasta is the same way, like we're very much perfectionists. So we don't want to miss a detail, or we don't want to misquote something or something like that. And then like, I'm terrified, like with my anxiety, I'm terrified that somebody's going to get in those comments and be like, you're wrong. Actually, it was this, you're an idiot. And that just terrifies me. And I just have to get over that. But so far, we've done a lot of research and everything for each episode of the podcast. And I've essentially written an article about every topic so that I was ready to go. But that just, it's burning me out. And I love this podcast, but I just don't have the energy, or that, like, I can't do that every week. I can't do it. So we're taking a more relaxed approach. We're going to talk about coffee sometimes. And what we're doing is I'm just basically biting the bullet and making myself go, okay, I'll find some topics and like kind of do research. Like, I'm going to look into the topics myself, but I'm not going to sit there and write down talking points or anything. I'm just, if I find out a news article, I'll learn what I learn about it and I'll bring that. And if I misquote something, correct me, I guess, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. So that's what this is going to kind of be today. And one reason I let us talk about coffee so long is because without it being so thoroughly researched, I am a little bit worried about the length of the podcast, but I guess you guys can just look at the length of the podcast now and know if it worked out or not. So we'll see. Yeah. But we grabbed a big old bunch of topics to talk about this week, and we'll just kind of go with what we need to go with. But for now, Stephanie, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, you know, just shooting the shit, drinking coffee. So on stream, I've been playing a lot of Skyrim, and I'm kind of a Elder Scrolls noob. I played ESO on, was it Xbox 360 back then? Maybe it was Xbox One. Whatever, one of them. And I hated it because it was new and it took forever to get into a queue, and it was terrible. So now, how many years later this is, like 8 years later, I don't know, giving it another go, and we're playing it on stream, and I am addicted. Absolutely addicted. I don't know why I have been holding it out for so long. And I've watched people stream it. Like, I've watched, we talk about our friend Spexy, shout out. She played it a lot, And Nate, did you ever play it? Did you ever stream it?
I don't think I've ever streamed it.
I
at
know
least
you've
not like
played
full
it,
playthroughs. I've played the heck out of Skyrim. It's important to differentiate because you said ESO, Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah,
Believe
big
me,
difference.
There is a big difference.
Big difference.
Skyrim came out first, and then Elder Scrolls Online is like an MMO, which is not bad. Actually, like in more recent updates and everything, they've actually made it pretty good, but it's still not Skyrim. Back when I played Elder Scrolls Online, I got in like the closed private beta. Like it was actually my first beta that I ever got into, and I felt so badass about it. I was like, oh yeah, and it sucked. Like the beta period, I'm like, what the is this? It was so boring. And then like even if you did, it was boring by yourself. And then if you partied up with friends, the quests were designed in ways like, okay, it was like, go to these 3 different points and touch these things on different sides of the map, different corners of the map. Fine. So we were like, we'll just split up and do that. No, you each have to touch each one individually. So the smartest thing to do would be to like go as a group to each one, which sounds like, okay, I'm sure some people are like, well, duh, Nate, like you each have to get the credit for doing that. But some games don't make you do that. Some games are like, no, each grab a thing. That's like you working as a group. Most games
don't work like that.
And even then, like, even if it is just like, no, you each have to have credit for doing it, fine, I can handle that. But then it was like 10-minute cooldowns between being able to do it. So one of us would click it, and we'd have to wait 10 minutes for the second person to do it, and then wait 10 minutes for the third person. And I'm just like,
it's terrible.
This sucks. This is the stupid... Like, it has gotten so much better. It's actually a legitimate MMO at this point, guys.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's good to know. But, I mean, it's already like... I don't know how you guys feel, but... Just like with the Master Chief Collection, when that all came out, like first impressions mean a lot with video games.
You only have one release.
And like Fallout 76, you guys, nobody talks about that. I mean, I know I have a really close friend that plays it consistently. Like that's his main game he still plays. And it's just because it's hard to put aside your personal views about a game when you had a really bad experience at first.
Yeah.
So maybe a few weeks ago, I was mad the other day because somebody was like, oh, Fallout 76 is terrible, blah, blah, blah. I said, have you played it recently since they did a lot of patches and stuff? And they're like, oh, no, it was terrible at first, blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, but you didn't give it a chance. But I also didn't do that with Elder Scrolls and like some other games I've played like that were just terrible. So that's on me.
It is fair that like, yeah, they have improved the games, but it's not our fault that your game wasn't good from the start. If you wanted us to like your game from the start, you should have had it good from the start. And I get,
agree.
Like, you've got issues. Like, sometimes there are bugs that you can't foresee. But in the case of games like Fallout 76, there was nothing to that game.
Yeah.
Like now they've got the roadmaps. And the roadmaps are a whole ordeal where, like, it's just an excuse to put out a game with nothing, get the money now, and finish it later. And that's bullcrap. So it's like, I get, and if for some reason I'm looking for something to do, I may look back at a game and give it another shot, but that's not my responsibility.
Exactly. Well, when you pay $60 for a game, or God forbid you got the special edition and paid $120 or whatever it is, you know, you expect that game to have the $60 whatever value content that you paid for the game.
Absolutely.
So I understand that. So back to whatever.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But back to like not giving games a second chance. I'm actually glad that people just hyped so much with all of like Bethesda games. And I've never been a big Bethesda fan except for Fallout. But I'm glad I actually said, okay, well, let's actually play this game now. And I'm not doing it with any mods or anything, like any mod support. It's just the game. And I'm having a blast. Everybody's been really respectful. Games that old, I feel like there's a lot of
elitism.
Yes, and backseat gaming.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to pull like the female gamer card. I am not about that. Like, whatever. Like, you're a girl and you play games, whatever. Get over yourself. We all play games. Shut up. But I feel like sometimes when I play certain games, I get a little bit more backseat gaming than my friends that are dudes. And I hate bringing this up. I just feel like it should be stated a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, it's just objectively true. Like, guys, the neckbeards out there love to go in and swoop in and save the poor girl from playing the game badly.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually have had that a little bit, but I kind of ignore it. But some of my mods, which are fantastic mods, I have the best mods in the world, and they'll be like, hey, just let her make the mistake. And they're like, you know what? Yeah. I haven't had anybody. I was really afraid to play that game because some of my friends that have streamed it, guys and girls, they both get backseat gamers, and it would ruin the game. And I don't have a warning or anything on my stream, like no backseat gaming, blah, blah, blah. But everybody's been really respectful, like, hey, do you need help with this? Hey, do you need this? It's just been a really good experience, like a really good stream experience. I mean, I don't have any glue. I got knock on glass, I guess. I don't have any, whatever. But, I'm going to keep playing this game. And hopefully it would be the same experience I've had all week. But it's just been a lot of fun. And I kind of feel bad that I've waited this long to actually play this game because any of like Elder Scroll games or anything, I've been just like, I played that once and blah, 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 So, yeah, I was really excited about that. And then I recently became a streamer for the Nerd Stash, which is a charity stream. They do charity streams every single day for Extra Life. So I will be doing that every Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard and raising money for Extra Life, help kids in need. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think this Friday we're going to be doing, I don't know if I'm going to do art or Twitch streams, but it's actually tomorrow. I need to get my shit together because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. But yeah. I'm
very excited for you about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I think we talked about it like maybe 2 streams ago, but when I did that charity stream, it's something I want to do a lot. You shouldn't do charity stuff to make yourself feel good. And I don't mean it like, oh, this made me feel like I was doing, good for myself. But I just felt like I'm very fortunate, and it felt good to be able to like give some of my time for something that's above me. And it's more than just a stream. It's more than anything. You're helping people. And I'm very like appreciative that I have this opportunity to do that.
It's on their channel, right?
It's on their channel. It's twitch.tv, the Nerd Stash. And each streamer goes in, like you'll have like your own allocated time. I mean, they stream 7 days a week. And they have streamers that devote their time to the channel because all proceeds they get, either bits, donations, sub, merch, anything they get goes 100% to Extra Life. So it's like a non-profit type stream, if that makes sense. Yeah. But
it's like the whole channel is more like a traditional TV channel.
Yeah, I feel like it has potential to be a 24-hour. Which, things happen. People, get sick or have a family function or something and they can't be there during their time. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure they do so good. They do such great streams and they raise so much money. I think last year they raised $32,000 for Extra Life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and they do every quarter, they have like a streamathon, or I think the next one is in June. So, I mean, they do so much, and I think it'd be great if they were like a 24-hour charity stream channel. I think that would be a great goal for them. I mean, I can't say much for them. I'm the noob. But I think they have potential to do that.
It is cool to see an opportunity like that pop up where you are able to pay it forward. You're able to do more charity stuff, more than just like hanging out on your channel. Because, I mean, I do that. I've done my own charity streams and it's fun and it feels good, but that feels like next level. Like you're a part of this big organization that is striving to do this as well. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty excited. I'm really anxious to get it started, and then
I'm going to definitely try to watch tomorrow.
Well, thanks.
So
I'm scared. Just being honest about it, I'm a little nervous about, make sure I do well and have all my ducks in a row. But yeah, I'll see you guys there. So what have you been up to, Nate? I've talked for like the longest time.
It's all right. It's all right. Same old with me. I've been playing lots of Yoshi's Crafted World.
Ooh.
Which I am the biggest fan of the original Yoshi's Island game. And I get that this isn't Yoshi's Island, and I shouldn't compare it to that. But I'm going to. So
it's natural.
So Yoshi's Island was or is still one of my favorite platform games ever. I know a lot of people played it on the Super Nintendo, where it was technically called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, but then they ported it to the Game Boy Advance, where it was like Super Mario Advance Yoshi's Island or something like that. I don't know. But they're essentially the same game. They had some minor changes. Essentially the same game. I played on Game Boy Advance. I loved it. And part of that does have to do with nostalgia. I mean, I was a kid. It was back when I didn't have a whole lot of games, and that was something that just absorbed a lot of my time. That game got really difficult at times, which made me actually have to get good, which I hate that term in a lot of ways, but this wasn't like mind-breaking difficulty. It was just challenging where you would overcome a challenge, and it felt really, really good. So the art style of the original Yoshi's Island was fantastic. It all looked hand-drawn. I heard somebody describe it as a coloring book come to life. And I was like, that's a good way of putting it. But that game was great. And since then, they had Yoshi's Island DS, which was like a canonical sequel to Yoshi's Island. And then they had Yoshi's New Island for the new 3DS, I think, which was also... So there was like a trilogy of Yoshi's Island games, but the second and third were not very good, so they were just... they were forgotten. They were lost to time. And then Yoshi's Woolly World came out for the Wii U, I believe, because that was the one I didn't have. And then recently, in the past couple weeks, we got Yoshi's Crafted World for the Switch. And since Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Island was a cute new art style that you didn't really see in any games. Like, it was all hand-drawn and stuff. It was great. So then Yoshi's Woolly World changed it up and said, we're going to do yarn and basically make everything out of yarn. And it looked great. Like, I love that art style too. And then they did a new one for this one as well. Yoshi's Crafted World is all like crafty stuff, which is obvious. It's in the name. But I mean, like, sometimes it's cardboard for certain stages. Other times it's paper. Like, there's an origami level where it's all paper themed stuff. There's a garden level where it's more like, oh, I took like little twigs and made like little houses out of twigs and stuff. So more like outdoorsy themed craft stuff. So it actually like does different kind of themes for crafts for a similar art style throughout. And it looks great. Like, the art style is fantastic. But the problem I have with this one is the same sort of problem I have with Woolly World, which is it feels like they're using their art style as a crutch. I wouldn't want to do away with the art styles because they are fantastic, but it just feels like they all just feel like very generic platformers. I didn't get to play a whole lot of Woolly World at all, really, so I can't say much to that. But Crafted World, I've gotten pretty far into it. I feel like I can judge it some. Each level is feeling like more and more unique as I go on, and that's very good. But there are certain things mechanically that make it just kind of lackluster. So in the original Yoshi's Island, it was a very fast, like throwing eggs. The egg throwing mechanic was very fast and responsive, and it felt really good. And you had two options. You had either click the target button where it'll pull up like I'm not going to be able to describe this well, but it pulls up a target that moves in an angle up and down in front of you.
I know what you mean.
So if you have it on the toggle mode, you click it once and it'll do that, and then you just click it again when you're ready to throw. What I always used was the like quick mode, where you just held it down, and when it hit where you wanted it to hit, you released it and you threw the egg. It was always very fast, very responsive, and it took a little bit to get used to because it is fast. Like the animation for it like happens so quickly that if you're not used to it, you can be inaccurate with it. But later game, you get used to it because the timing is the same every time you do it. So later in the game, you're like pro level egg throwing at targets and stuff. You'll be mid-air, mid-jumps doing stuff, and it's great. And it feels really satisfying and a lot of fun. And in Yoshi's Crafted World, they wanted to take advantage of the foreground and the background in addition to the mid-ground that you're on. I think it's called mid-ground. I don't know. I don't design games. I just critique them. But, which is a cool idea because it is, like, obviously the art style is fantastic for this. The problem is there's things hidden in the foreground and background that you have to hit with eggs. And with just a reticule bouncing up and down in front of you, you can't hit the foreground and background. So what they did instead was, when you're targeting, when you click the button to target something, you have to physically move a cursor around with a joystick. Which anybody that has ever tried to use a cursor with a joystick knows how clunky and slow that feels. And I hate it. I really hate it. Now, if you move the cursor, basically the rule is it will automatically target anything in the midground if you are not directly hovering over the object. So if the cursor is directly in between you and the thing you are shooting at, it will shoot in that direction at the thing in the midground. Now, if there is something in the background or foreground that the cursor is hovering over, it will then target the foreground or background, which also kind of sounds good in theory, except that then stuff in the foreground and background gets in the way when you're trying to shoot stuff in the midground, and vice versa. It feels like this game, they don't even give you as much eggs. It's very limiting on how many eggs you get. So it's almost like survival horror of, like, I don't want to spend eggs on anything that I don't, like, absolutely need, because I'm going to need it for something else later. And if I want to get all the collectibles and 100% this, I need the eggs. And like I said, in the original Yoshi's Island, when you're jumping, you're so used to the timing of it moving up and down that you can jump and shoot things in midair and feel really good. And this, if I'm on a moving platform, I'm pretty much I can't aim at shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm having to move a cursor, which moves slower than me. So if I'm moving to the right on a moving platform, and I'm needing to move the cursor to the left, the cursor is staying still.
Oh my god.
So it's just like,
that's frustrating.
I hate it. I hate it so much. And it's just like, there are so many things I legitimately like about the game. Like, it is very charming, and I still think it's a good game, but it's just one of those things that's just like, I can't help but look back at the original Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo and be like, guys, you've done this in the past. It was so good. It felt really fast and responsive and clean. And the platforming in this does. There isn't a huge amount of platforming in this. I think that's part of the problem. I noticed watching old footage of Yoshi's Island is more zoomed out. Like, Yoshi is not taking up as much room on the screen either. So you have more room for platforming and more room for error. And this is just a little bit slower pace. And I like that. They're going for more of a chill experience with Yoshi. And I can appreciate that. There's no timers on this like there is on New Super Mario Brothers. You take the level at your own pace, which means that's, if you get to the end and go, I missed a red coin, you can literally go back to the beginning on most levels and be searching. Where did I lose it? Where did I miss that red coin? Where was it hidden? Which is great, but also because I'm a completionist and I want to do that, it messes up the pacing because inevitably I miss something, and then I spend 30 minutes searching high and low in the level trying to figure out where that one red coin was of the 20 in the level. And then I finally get the level done. I'm like, wow, I spent so long doing that. The pacing is good if you just play through a level and move on.
Yeah.
But the game encourages you to complete it. And I am a completionist, and if to a certain extent, if the game is easy enough to complete, I'm going to complete it. And this is just easy enough where it's like, all right, I'm going to have to go complete this. And here's the thing. I don't know the exact number, but I've heard from other people that you can't fight the final boss unless you have enough flowers collected, and you collect flowers from getting all 20 red coins in a level, or just picking up the flowers in a level, or various things like that. So I could theoretically get to the end of this just breezing through it, just having fun at a good pace, and I get to the final boss and the game's like, oh no, you gotta go back and redo the stuff because you didn't do good enough the first time. It's just that never happened with Yoshi's Island. There was a completionist aspect to it where you did collect flowers, you did collect red coins, and I think the other thing, which is also in this one, is your health. You want to have full health by the end of the level. But all it locked behind that was mini games, which were very fun, by the way. I always enjoyed those mini games in Yoshi's Island. And it was never a big pressure. all you had to do to beat the game was play through each level. If you beat the level, you moved on to the next, no matter what. And in each world, I will say, this game does to a certain extent keep you caught up with it. So you beat the first little section, and then the game is like, oh, I need 10 flowers for me to set up the next world for you. And it's like, okay, here's 10. And you pay the toll booth, essentially, to move on in the game. So that kind of helps lead you up to the final boss. That makes it where you can't just get to the final boss with 5 flowers and then be told, well, you need 50. So it does somewhat pace you up that way, but it just, man, I don't know. It's... I like the game. I'm enjoying it. I want to finish it soon, actually. I'm like determined really soon here, possibly this weekend or Monday or something, to just like sit down and knock out the rest of the game, because I do like it. I'm just disappointed because it's just, I don't think anything can ever capture the beauty that was the original Yoshi's Island game. And I get that because a lot of it is nostalgia. But just gameplay wise, like these are real complaints I have about this one that I can go, no, but see, this is where Yoshi's Island did this better. It was faster, it was more responsive, and felt great in the first one. And this one is just like, it's just still, I don't know. I like it. I like it, guys. It's cute as heck, and it makes me happy, but it's very slow at times and can get a little boring.
Yeah. Well,
the other thing I've been playing, which I know people have specifically requested me talk about this one. Stephanie, while you have been playing Skyrim and been diving deep into that for the first time, which has been awesome. I got to check out some of her streams. It was a lot of fun. She was doing fine. She has nothing to worry about. She was doing fine. But while that game is great, even with the flaws it has. I mean, it has flaws. Don't get me wrong, guys. I do not think Bethesda is without flaws, and I don't think Skyrim was without flaws. But that game is objectively like a good game. It's sold that many copies on that many consoles for a reason. So you can't say it's a bad game. But while you've been enjoying that, I've been playing a different Elder Scrolls game. It's their latest and greatest, Elder Scrolls Blades for the phone. Man, when they announced this thing, I don't think anybody had real high hopes for it. I mean, let me rephrase. I think people hoped it would be good, but I don't think people believed it would be good. And it's just, it's got somehow more than I expected and less than I expected at the same time. So I expected it to be very like a return to form to the early Elder Scrolls games. So I expected this. They were talked specifically about the Abyss mode, I believe, which is essentially just go deeper and deeper into this dungeon. You level up kind of like roguelike, where you level up each time and you get better armor and better gear, and you just progress further and further. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. That's okay. Not a big deal. But they even had more than that. They actually have like a bit of a story to this. They have a town that you can go in and upgrade, kind of as you collect resources from your certain quests and whatnot. You can use them to put new buildings in your town, like a smithy or an alchemist, and you can upgrade them and get better stuff from them. And that is not bad. It's kind of basic. It's a little bit grindy, but it's not bad. And there is actual like quests and a story to it somewhat, which I really just haven't gotten far enough in to really judge, because I grind. I just do like the side questy stuff over and over again to just grind up levels to an insane amount, because that's how I play any Elder Scrolls game. So I really haven't progressed story-wise.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm doing right now, and I feel you on that.
But at least in Skyrim, it's a lot of fun. In this, it's like, go to this dungeon and pick up 5 fire salts. Okay, I'll go to that dungeon and I'll pick up 5 fire salts and fight some baddies in between the little drops of fire salts on the ground. All right, that's cool. I'll do that. It's very tedious. The actual combat feels very clunky, and a part of it is because I think my phone's just not good enough for it, which is very depressing, because my phone is not... I have a Note 8. Like,
oh, it's not that old. Like
it's
2
not
years,
that
right?
old of a phone. Yeah, I was like, it's not that old. And I know, like, phone technology, they're always releasing new phones, but it shouldn't be that bad. I think part of it is just because it's in early access, so it's just not as optimized as it should be. So there's times where I'll kill an enemy, and it'll just stutter. Like, it'll just, like, lock up for, like, a split second before they fall. So sometimes when I hit them, I'm like, did I hit them? And then it'll throw me off because then I'll put my finger back down. Because the way the combat works is you touch your finger to them. It's not even a swipe thing. I thought it'd be swipes. No. You touch your finger to the screen and a circle fills up. And you want to release right as the circle's completely filled to get a critical. To do the most damage. It is thrilling.
That's weird. It's like you remember those rhythm games you had on your phone? Like the DS had like this like Guitar Hero type game. Anyway, it just reminds me of that. Though. They were good, but it's just like on your phone. It's just for the type of game that it is. That's kind of weird. I don't know.
The combat doesn't feel satisfying because of it. And the thing is, like, so let's say like I get a perfect crit. Cool. The game stutters for a split second, which again, like, I don't have the latest phone, but it's not that old of a phone. So I hit them, it stutters for a second, and my instinct is to immediately put my thumb back down to get ready for the next attack. But because the game stutters, it doesn't detect that my thumb has retouched the surface. So then I have to lift up my thumb again and retouch the game to get it to register it and then fill up again. In that time, I'm still getting attacked by this guy. So it's like I'm losing unnecessary health because the game is just kind of janky. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. The combat's rough, but I'm like, okay, it's a mobile game. And what I look for in mobile games is kind of just a chill grind, which is what this game should be. Okay, fair enough. So combat doesn't have to be thrilling. I'm just going in and just raw numbers of like, I'm stronger than them, I'll just outlast them. I'm stronger than them, I'll outlast them. And I'm getting more XP every time. I'm getting stronger, better gear. Cool. That's fine. It's just a chill grinding, run through the dungeon, very simple thing. But it does get extremely tedious because you're seeing a lot of the same locales. The controls are very weird. You have two choices. You can either touch where you want to go and your character will move there, or you can use virtual joysticks on the screen. And I have tried both, and both of them just still feel just not fun to me. I literally find more enjoyment out of tapping and saying, go there and be there. The problem is sometimes I click on a wall or something and the game gets confused and it just rotates my character around to face the opposite direction. And then I have to like swipe the screen to turn my character around. It's just like, it's so weird and clunky. And then getting past the clunkiness, like, all right, the game is... It's a game, I guess. It's free. It's all right. Here's the thing. The game is built from the ground up to just suck. And it's in the hopes that you're going to then spend money to make it suck less. And for instance...
Sounds great.
A lot of mobile games, especially early on, this has kind of died down in mobile games of late, luckily, because people have been like, we don't like this. But there's a term for it, and I can't think of what the term is, but timers to mobile games, where you say, I'm going to do, like, say it's a puzzle game. Each puzzle takes 1 energy, and they each take 1 hour to regenerate. Or you can pay to just play continuously.
Because it's only $5.
Because it's just $5.
It's just $5.
$5 to refill it that one time, and then when you use that up again in 5 minutes, you have to then pay another $5 and pay another $5. It's a bull crap business practice. I hate it, and mobile games have kind of died down with that. And then Bethesda comes in and says, "You know what? We like that business model. We're going to use that." Idea. So now I will give them credit. It is not as hard of a timer as what I was saying before, where you literally just couldn't do the puzzles. What they're doing is they're locking the chests behind timers. So in Skyrim, you see a chest and you pick it with a cool lock-picking minigame. And you either have good enough lock-picking or you don't. In this, you pick up every chest and then you have to go in to unlock it, and then you have to wait for a certain amount of time before it unlocks. They patched it today to make it a little bit better because the wooden chests are 5 seconds. Fair enough. You wait 5 seconds, open it, cool. The silver chests were 3 hours. And the golden chests, I think, were 5 or 6 hours.
Oh my god.
The problem with this is you can only unlock one chest at a time. So say you're unlocking a silver or a gold chest and you load up on wooden chests, which only take 5 seconds. You can't unlock those wooden chests because you're waiting 6 hours for your golden chest to unlock. And in that time, you have a limited inventory space for chests.
Oh my god.
But you can expand that with real money.
Ew.
Or you can pay real money to instantly open the chests right then and there. So now it's with a currency you can technically earn in game, but you earn it very slowly. Like it's a real world, like you can pay to get this currency, and that's what they want you to do. They expect you to get these chests and spend real money to unlock them at the moment because, again, you can keep playing the game, but if you keep playing it too much, you're going to be full of chests and you're not going to be able to get any more gear for the stuff you're doing, like completing missions or just picking them up in dungeons or anything like that. So basically, the problem with this business model in general is you would play a game and it would go, we don't want you to play. Pay real money or we aren't going to let you play the game. And I would go, all right, I'm going to go play a game that will let me play it then because you're not giving me enough time to actually get invested in this game. So I'm going to go play something else that I care about because it did give me time. Like when I played a mobile game and it gave me 5 minutes before, it's like, nope, you got to wait an hour. Now it's like, well, I only played 5 minutes of this game. I literally do not care. Uninstall.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I would do. I did read that they had made $500,000 like within the first few days though. So there are people that have, I think we touched the issue of like people being addicted to this. So, I mean, that sucks. Don't buy it if you're that type of person to pay for like loot boxes and stuff.
That's the thing is like there's always going to be those people. And I'm not shaming people for that. If you are enjoying the game and you want to just pay the money for the loot box, that doesn't make you a bad person. I'm not shaming you for that. But I just hate seeing business practices like this work.
Yeah.
This could have been good.
What they should have done is just, because I don't want to get into the loot box conversation. I feel like they could have done a really good job by saying, hey, this is going to be a mobile game. You're going to spend $10, $15, whatever. Because it's not going to be that much content on a mobile game. Yeah. $10, flat rate, go. I think that would have been kind of neat.
And I love that in theory too. I don't know how to win with this because games have done that on mobile. And even like the harder core gamers don't. Mario Run is a famous example. And they did say, they were like, no microtransactions in it. We're just going to, you pay $10, you get the full game. Go. Yeah. And nobody bought it. Like, it just nobody bought it. And part of it is because it is a different demographic. So the hardcore gamers aren't playing games on mobile. We're playing, I say hardcore gamers, like with quotations. Like console gamers and stuff, we're playing on consoles. We're not going to play on mobile. So while mobile gamers are a lot more casual about it, they're a lot more inclined to not pay $10 outright for a game. Instead, pay with microtransactions. That's why Nintendo tried it. They tried it with Mario Run. And it didn't sell.
I forgot all about that.
It's still out there, but people just have not bought it. So Nintendo even said afterwards, they're like, we tried it. None of y'all bought it, so we're not going to do that anymore for any of our mobile games. And then ever since then, they've been doing the shitty mobile practices like they do in Animal Crossing. Like, Animal Crossing has some really bad stuff. At least with Elder Scrolls, you can wait for the timer to tick down, and you get the stuff out of the chest, and it's all the stuff you would have gotten anyways. Animal Crossing has limited time loot boxes that can only be purchased with real money, exclusively with real money, and they are all the good stuff. It's like seasonal special, like they're called fortune cookies in Animal Crossing. So like there was fortune cookies themed around Nintendo consoles. So if you wanted to get a Wii for your Animal Crossing game, you had to buy a loot box with real money and hope that you got the Wii to drop or stuff like that.
Crazy.
And it was stuff like, you have 2 weeks And it's just like, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap.
Yeah.
So you could technically get this currency. Again, it was Leaf tickets to buy these. You could get Leaf tickets, but earning Leaf tickets in that game is real rough. Rough.
I haven't played a lot of mobile games. I played one where it's like this restaurant game long time ago. And then I got burnt out after like 2 days. But the Animal Crossing game is one of the ones that I actually did download and play for a little while. And it wasn't even that. It was confusing. Like, you had to have Leaf tickets, and then you have these fortune cookies, and then you have this, and then you have that. It's like, can I please just not?
Can I just play some Animal Crossing?
Can I just play Animal Crossing? Like these little mini games. I just wanted to play the little mini games.
It's just a very shallow sort of Animal Crossing, and I still play it periodically because there are times when I do just want, like, brainless activity on a phone game or whatnot, but it just, I don't know. The biggest issue with Elder Scrolls Blades is, I think it's just because it's a mobile game. It's just it's just a mobile game, and it's just, I don't know. I didn't have high expectations. I wanted it to be better than it was, and I still play it. I will say they literally patched it today to be where the silver chests are now only take an hour, which is going to greatly improve because they seem to be the thing you get the most of, honestly. Like, next to, like, you get wooden chests, like, just literally pick them up. But as far as just from completing quests, you usually get silver chests. And they patched it down to only being an hour to wait on them, which is good. But, of course, they patched it right after I started opening one.
Oh, God.
Like, literally 5 minutes after I started opening one for 3 hours. And then they patched it. And it didn't just automatically take that down to an hour. I still had to wait the full 3 hours. I'm like, dang it, guys. You couldn't have just done it like 5 minutes earlier before I started. Okay, fine. Fine, I'll wait 3 hours for this one, even though everybody else can now just open theirs in an hour. So, I mean, that's a minor complaint, but I was just like, that's just the icing on the cake there, isn't it?
My phone this is like a personal thing, but my phone is my ball and chain. Like, I keep it on Do Not Disturb because I just get so many, between work and everything, I'll get so many notifications. I have to charge it midday. And my phone's new. It's not like the battery's gone. It's just, that's how much I have to use it. I can't. Like, I find no joy in even holding my phone. So, that's part of it too. Phone has a bad connotation for me.
The problem is, before Blades came out, Bethesda had really burned people with Fallout 76. Fallout 76 was rough.
Yeah.
Longtime fans of Fallout were really disappointed with it because it was very blatantly just here, give us money. It seems like it was a very shallow experience. All the things that people liked about the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, like story and everything, just wasn't there. Like, it was just like, here, we made an online survival game and slapped Fallout on it. And some people liked it, and that's fine. Again, if you liked it, no judgments. I'm glad you were able to like it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it at first.
Some of my best friends actually got a lot of playtime out of it. I'm like, I'm glad. But that game bombed. They literally are having trouble giving the game away. They're trying to give it away in bundles and stuff. It's not. People don't want that game. And so Bethesda really showed an ugly side of themselves. And part of the problem is, it's not the same Bethesda that made Skyrim, or even like the earlier, even like better games. I like Skyrim. Skyrim is like, I would say Skyrim is an excellent game for the masses, like for a larger audience, whereas stuff like Oblivion and Morrowind were possibly better games, but for a smaller audience. Like, less people like them, but the people that like them more. It's like a weird sort of, like, I think they're almost better, but they're not as widely popular as Skyrim.
Kind of like how the people that love Luigi's Mansion more than, like, I don't know, like Super Mario, which is crazy to me, but my brother loves Luigi's Mansion better, but he loves it with an intensity of like 1,000 suns. So it's like those people love the games more.
I love Luigi's Mansion, don't get me wrong. I don't like it more than Mario, but I also don't, I've never really compared it to Mario. They're very different games.
They are.
I'm excited for the new Luigi's Mansion, though. I'm like, yes, give it
Jones
to me.
the Nut Bits. Yeah.
But no, Elder Scrolls Blades, I think at this point really needed to be something better than what it was after the Fallout 76 fiasco.
I just thought it was a bad direction. Don't make it a mobile game. You can't, for everything you want to do, you can't fit it in there. Why skimp out on the story and everything? It's whatever. It's going to be done. People will forget about it in 2 months.
So that's what I've been doing. Now that we're an hour in, we've talked about
oh my gosh,
coffee and what we've both been doing, but that's fine. Because, yeah, like I said, we're taking a bit of a different approach to things, guys. So
yeah,
we're just going to talk about one topic because of time shortages and whatnot. But our one topic this week will be Zelda and Mario in VR.
I hope you were going to say that one.
I'm kind of excited about this. So we talked a lot of shiz about Labo VR in previous podcasts. And then they released a trailer for it where they actually showed it off. And I was like, that's like, it doesn't look amazing, but that looks doable. Like the elephant one, I think is the one, like weird. What a weird thing. But the elephant attachment lets you actually like paint in VR.
I thought that was cool.
I love stuff like that. Vive has a program like that, which is obviously more robust. But just a simple little program of like, I'm in this little VR world and I can paint with this like elephant mask thing, as use like a spray paint thing, and paint in 3D. I'm like, that's real. I love that. That's like a really cool thing. There was like some cool things to the VR that actually I was like, you know what, Pasta? I think I'm actually gonna get Labo VR and give it a try. It's cheap enough. I can't stream it because the way it's designed and everything, but I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll be just fun for me to play on my own, and I'll give it a shot. And then they upped the ante, and they, like a couple days ago, they released a video being like, yo, Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild are getting VR patches. And I'm just like, okay, go on. And Mario Odyssey was very like, it's 3 new missions that are basically just little mini games to get new power moons. And I was like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
so
that's worth it.
Like, it's like, it's a free update. It's not, like, if you already have Labo, it's like, okay, it's a neat little, like, here's some missions in VR. Nothing crazy. And then Breath of the Wild came on and was just like, you want to play the whole game in VR? Because you can.
That's awesome.
The only thing it said, there was 2 little things. It said, I think the pre-rendered cutscenes were not VR compatible. And then there was something else that I think was actually, like, a nice thing. I can't even remember what it was. But bottom line, you can play the whole open world Zelda Breath of the Wild in VR. And that sounds awesome. And I like, again, nobody's gotten their hands on it. It doesn't actually get patched in until the 25th. But I was like, yeah, I got to get my hands on that VR.
I mean, it's only $40. Like, it may be kind of gimmicky, but it'd be a good kind of like, hey, you got like $40 in your pocket to burn, and you're wanting to try it.
Some VR
fun, go for stuff. It.
Yeah, like it's not that expensive. So, and the fact that they're bragging that they're going to be like, if Zelda VR actually works, I'm interested because that's already a very intensive game. So I'm kind of worried about the performance of it. Like, I'm like, I don't know how that'll do, but
see how it is when it comes out, though.
Yeah, I was like, I'll report back because I want to do that. It comes out. Yeah. The VR is literally, it's the 11th, guys, and the Labo VR is launching tomorrow. So,
oh wow! I didn't know it was this quick.
Yeah, I don't have the money for it tomorrow, unfortunately, so I won't be getting it at launch. So I'm like, please don't sell out. Please don't sell out. I really, actually, kind of want to get this. And I think once they announced the Mario and Zelda, I think a lot of people were just like, all right, I'm getting that now. It's like, dang, oh no.
It's a good situation for Nintendo because everybody's like, oh, Virtual Boy, like, it'll be a good meme. Or people be like, you know what? It's not much. Let's just try it. Expectations are very, I mean, I hate to say this about any Nintendo thing, but I feel like expectations are really low. So
I agree. I think that's what it is. Even I was just like, it looks fun enough. They did more with it than I expected. When I first saw them announce it, I was like, that sounds stupid. That sounds really stupid. And then actually seeing some footage of the different games you can play and whatnot, I'm like, all right, that's not bad. They even have like a little game maker engine where you can like make your own VR games and stuff and program stuff to do things inside. I'm like, that's cool. That's actually like, it probably is very limited because it's just like a little toy shop thing. But for what it is, again, I'm still like you said, you're paying like $40 for the basic one or $80 for like the full thing. So
I'm sure they'll have like a Pokemon Snap situation with, like, I'm sure it's coming.
They have a camera VR, so they're definitely, even if it's like a little miniature Pokemon Snap situation, it's just too perfect that they have a VR camera coming out where you physically.
I feel like it's a build up. Honestly, I feel like it's a build up for that.
I agree. To a certain extent, I'm excited. Like, I know it's not going to be very much. Some of the mini games look real dumb. Like, I'm going to literally spend 2 minutes on that, and then I'll be done with that forever.
Yeah. I think it'll be worth $40.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get the $80 one just to have all of the things.
Yeah, but for, like, just the base one, $40, I would spend $40.
I should note, you can get the other expansions individually. You can get, like, the basic one with the zapper, the gun, and then you can get the other things like the camera and whatnot individually if you don't want the whole thing. I'm just probably going to get the whole thing to more or less review it. Just be like, I'm going to play everything and see what I think about everything, and then I'll get back to y'all. So, well, again, I won't get it tomorrow, but maybe in the next couple weeks, I'll get back to y'all and say, hey, VR.
We should just have a whole podcast dedicated to the review.
Oh my goodness. The only thing I'm worried about is they're talking about playing like the whole Zelda Breath of the Wild with it. But it still doesn't have straps for your head. Like, am I supposed to just lay down on my back? How do I do this? What's happening?
It would be a little uncomfortable. But, I mean, time will tell. Maybe you'll be, like, so into the game that you won't really notice.
Won't even know, yeah.
Because sometimes, see. I don't know how you were when you played games as a kid, but, like, if I was playing Mario Party against my brother, this girl was standing. I was standing right in front of the TV, screaming. You know, standing on one leg, switching to the other, jumping up and down. So, I mean, sometimes you don't even realize what you're doing with your body when you're playing a game like that when you're standing.
My live streams. That's why I have a standing desk, is because I literally do that during my live streams.
Exactly. So
the only real mini game I was concerned about was there's one that's multiplayer, and not multiplayer as in multiple switches, as in it's turn-based. You shoot some stuff, and then you hand it off to your buddy, and then they put it on their face, and they shoot some stuff.
Oh.
And I'm like, ooh, that's how pink eye happens. Like, y'all,
Ew.
I don't want to just spread the VR. I don't want to just pass around the VR to a group of people. That sounds real nasty. Like, I get that you have to have, like, one person has to have pink eye initially. I know that's not what causes pink eye, but that's how it spreads. So
it's porous material. It's the Labo. Ugh. So it has porous material. Anyway, I'm grossing myself out. I'm going to stop talking about it.
Yeah, so that was the one that I was just like, I don't know about that one. Okay. But that would explain why they were like, oh, see, it doesn't have straps, because they literally have the intention of like, you can just pass it off. I don't want to pass it off. Gross.
You can get pink eye faster.
Ugh, gross. I'm like, like, ultimately it'll be me and my boyfriend playing it, if anything, but still, it's just like, I don't know about that one, Nintendo. I guess GameStop said that they were gonna, no, Best Buy, I think it was, said that they're gonna have, I think on the 14th or something, in certain locations, you can go try out Labo VR. Just they did with Vive and everything. And I'm like, again, that's just, I don't want to go to a store where a bunch of people are trying out the VR headsets. That sounds
I'm good.
Gross.
So you just tell us about it.
I'll just buy it. It made a little bit more sense with Vive or Oculus, because
they have the wipes next to it.
Well, they were so expensive, though. Like, that was a huge point of entry. You wanted to know if it was going to be your thing before you bought it. Whereas Labo, like, I know, like, $40 and $80, that's still, especially for some people, that can still be expensive, but I'm a lot more willing to spend $40 and go, that wasn't very good.
It's it's like 10% of what you would pay for a regular one. I mean, come on.
For anything else, so it's like, okay. So, I thought that was interesting that they said they were going to do that. I'm like, all right, I mean, that's one of the... I'd be worried about, like, they're trying out one they're letting people try it out, and then some kid tears up one of the cardboard ones from playing too. Like, the cardboard is pretty durable for Labo. I will give them that. But it is still cardboard. So what if one kid gets too rambunctious, tears it up, and then nobody else has, like, do they have other Labos ready to go just in case? Like, this is not a Vive. I don't know. It's a weird situation, so.
Yeah.
So that's that, guys. I guess we'll sort of wrap up for the week. I hope you enjoyed our weird sort of experiment.
I've had a lot of fun. I feel very good about it.
I liked it. I mean, we still had a decently long podcast.
I know.
Mainly because we talked for 15
we
minutes
love
about
talking,
coffee.
y'all. I love it. We love to chit chat. I can't shut up.
We still talked about a couple newsworthy topics. We had like a bunch of other news topics actually, but I was like, a lot of them were kind of highlights. I was like, I don't know, or not highlights. What's the word? Headlines. They were all headlines. So I was like, I don't know, like, how so much of a conversation to have about these, but I liked this. We may not cover all the stuff that we would normally cover in this format, but it's a lot more relaxed. It's going to be a lot easier on both of us mentally, I think, because instead of spending the whole day writing articles and figuring out how the heck to do this, I literally was just watching videos this morning that I wanted to watch already. And then I picked up topics from that and whatnot. So if you guys have specific things, like the Elder Scrolls Blades thing, if you have specific topics you'd like us to talk about, let us know. Like, we got our Twitters. We've got the official detonatecast Twitter now. Tweet us there or send us an email at detonatecast@gmail.com.
Let us know how you like the format, too. And if you have any suggestions for it, we would love that.
Yeah.
I really am digging this. It's really nice.
I had fun. I had a really good time. So, Stephanie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch at Pastaroni Ravioli. And on Fridays, you can also find me on The Nerd Stash, also on Twitch. The Twitters, that's Pasta Raviolis. Not my name. It doesn't fit. So beware. User beware. And if you ever go to my channel, you can look and get the Discord stuff. You can always send me messages on Discord too. I don't care. I ain't shy.
As for myself, you can find me on twitch.tv/Nate Gullion, twitter.com/Nate Gullion, youtube.com/user/Nate Gullion. On the last podcast, I think I actually said twitch.com/Nate Gullion instead of twitch.tv, but I'm like, it's fine.
They know.
I noticed it in post. I was like editing. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Hey.
But yeah, so Nate Gullion everywhere. It's pretty easy to find me. We are on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and Google Play Music. You can find us on all those places. Please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It's a great way to support us for absolutely free, and it really helps out the podcast. It really, really does. We very much appreciate it.
Yes.
If you want to send us some money, you can do so over at patreon.com/Nate Gullion. It helps keep the podcast going. Also, if you pay $10 or more a month, you will get listed off as an executive producer at the end of each podcast. And you'll be listed off as an executive producer on my Twitch page as well.
What?
Yeah. Just, it's a tier 3. You'd be a tier 3 patron. So patron. I can read. Wow. Guys, I'm really
he needs
missing
the coffee,
caffeine
guys.
this week. I'm really missing caffeine.
We have
I've been
a witness.
slurring. Like, it is a rough time. I'm not usually this bad. I just need that caffeine. So tier 3 patrons at $10 or more a month, you're an executive producer. Also, we do have merch over at shop.nategullion.com where you can get a t-shirt or a coffee mug and show us off to your friends when they go, hey, what's that cool Detonate podcast t-shirt from? You can be like, it's from the Detonate podcast, don't you know? And then they can check it out too and learn the awesomeness that is this show.
Yes. Where we talk about coffee.
Talk about coffee for 15 minutes. I loved it. It's because it's even more of our weird personalities coming out, and that's great. If you guys want news, there's plenty of news shows out there. But if you want to hear us talk
this
about
week's
random
headline,
stuff,
there are a bunch of caffeine addicts here.
we are addicted to caffeine, and we're very unhealthy people.
That's all you have to know.
Send help. But I think that about covers everything. So without further ado, all I have left to say is goodbye.
Bye.
Next time on the Detonate podcast.
All right, Nate. I need to stay up for another 3 hours because I gotta get this epic, legendary, whatever chest for the Elder Scrolls Blades. So I'm gonna need a line of 85 milligrams of caffeine stat. Oh, that was great.
I'm already just out.
You're just done. You're just done.